Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream, man. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys are smash the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you are new. Hopefully, you guys are good. LB, can you do an intro like you did with Nobbins yesterday? I don't know what that was, bro. I can't remember what intro I did yesterday with Nobbins. Sorry, bro. I streamed too much in it to remember what I did yesterday. I'm sorry, bro. I'm joined again by Pulpit and Joe. We did a show 2 weeks ago, man. It was a good show, man. So I thought let's get us back on. See what we're gonna talk about. We can speak about the games recently. We can speak about tomorrow. But both of you guys all right?
Yeah, mate. Double well. Good.
Yeah. Recovered from the weekend. By this point, kind of.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Well,
kind of.
It was a frustrating game, wasn't it? But it's just kind of typical of current us right now, innit? We looked really good against Forest. And I'd really I'd convinced myself that this was like the turning of a corner, and that Palace, who had did they have 2 wins all season before that game? I was just like, oh, this is it. Like, this is the perfect sort of follow up to getting your first win. You want a team that's that's barely won a game all season, and then lo and behold, we go and draw.
You should know better, Joe. You should know better.
I won't ask Puppy about his Kyle Walker fan club status.
I won't put that on him. Yeah, I disbanded that. I've had enough. Even I've had enough. Yeah, even I've had enough of that. You can't, can you? I tried. I was hoping he was going to turn a corner. He was unfit, but he just seems to be getting worse, right?
Mate, he's disgusting. There's so many things I could say about him that'd get LB's channel removed, but I won't do that.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Yeah, before we go into I want to speak about tomorrow and that Champions League, but I want to hear your boys' takes. I've not spoken to either of you since the game against Palace, so Yeah, let me speak to Pulpy first. I've got to turn Joe's mic up. People are saying your mic's quiet. Let me turn it up a bit.
Yeah,
Right,
I'll try and move close to it as well.
There we go. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, first of all, Pulpy, what did you make of the team selection against Palace? Because for me, I don't know if you watched the concert, but what I found strange was against Feyenoord, he played Nunes in the middle and had the legs there. Against Forest, he had Grealish in the middle, had the legs there, and both of those two games were all right. And then about Palace, he sort of abandoned what had worked in the previous two games, gone back to that Gundo Bernardo situation, Nunes out on the wing, and we had exactly the same problems. Did you see that at the start and think, why has he done this? Or did you see something else that he was cooking?
I think at this point, it's just a case of which of the fittest 11 players we've got and whatever they are. Obviously, we'd all love to see Grealish start again on Saturday, right? But he weren't fit, was he, to start? So I think that's what's kind of thrown that in the mix there. I generally think it's just a case of what players have we got that are fit and who can start a game. And these are 11 or maybe 12 and just say, right, we've just got to go with that and just get through it. I don't think there's anything other than just what we got. Everyone's practically playing through something, aren't they? Unfitness and a knock, or there's probably 2 fit players out of the old squad right now. So I didn't read too much into it. I wasn't surprised, and I won't be surprised when what team we play against Juventus is a completely different team that we've chuck out against United. It's just whoever's fit. We're literally fighting for fitness players at the minute.
I know. I just felt that, even though we did have injury issues, and obviously Grealish apparently had another injury or whatever, just play Nunes in the middle, man, because that's what worked in the last 2 games was having legs, having energy in the middle, and he could have played Nunes in the middle, Savio left, Bernardo right, and because the thing is as well, Pulpy, against Forest, Bernardo Silva had one of his best performances in ages out on that right-hand side, and then you've moved him back into the middle. That's the only thing that I was a little bit bro, why have you done that, man? People say, trust Pep. It's I trusted him. He found the solution, in my opinion, against Feyenoord and against Forest. I was like, W Pep, he's doing bits. And then he switched it back again, and I was just like, oh, man. But, the injuries are playing a part, of course they are, but I still think Pep, man, against Palace got that team selection wrong. I think he should have played Bernardo right, Nunes in the middle, and Savio left, for me.
We still had enough to win the game, though. We still played well enough, I think. We had enough decent chances.
That is true.
You know what I mean? These games we've lost and we've not won or whatever, we could have been 5-0 up in some of these games. 4-5-0 up before even teams have even had a chance. It's just...
But we're not clinical enough, Paul.
Yeah, that's the issue is these... In seasons gone by, we paper over these cracks when we're winning 4 and 5-1. You know what I mean? We could afford to have a shaky moment in those games, but we scored 3 or 4 goals, and teams are literally demoralised by them. Whereas now we don't put chances away, and they go to the other end and score, and it's 1-0 down, and we just here we go again. And teams know that.
Yeah, no, I know. We're just not creating enough, and we're not clinical enough, and our defence is poor, and that is just a recipe for disaster. And it's I don't want to say it again, but at 1-0 down, I predicted a 2-2 because I saw what was going to happen. I saw that we was getting chances. I saw the game was open. I knew we wouldn't be clinical enough, and I knew we'd concede another goal. And that's just what it is like watching City at the moment. I feel like we're very predictable in terms of how the match. We can almost see how the match is going to play out by the first 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Against Forest, I was like, we might concede one because we're conceding a few chances, but we'll do these today. You could tell. Do you know what I mean? But against Palace, it was like we're going to be in trouble again. And
it was edgy, wasn't it? It was tight and it was a bit messy, and you could just tell that was the sort of game they wanted. Where that's the only way they were going to get something out of it is if it developed into that kind of game, and it sort of panned out that way.
I'll tell you what, as well, bro. Yeah, if it wasn't for Diaz, we could have been on another loss there because I thought Ruben Diaz was mint.
We just didn't have the energy that we had against Forest, did we? I think one of the biggest things against Forest was that when we didn't have the ball, or when there was that second ball to be won, everyone was desperate for it. It was just a case of everyone wanted it. We looked more like normal City, where when we lose the ball and then we have it back in 5, 6, 7 seconds or something like that. It looked more like that against Forest, and I think that sort of, as you said, that's why I've been frustrated that since Feyenoord we haven't seen Nunes in the centre at all. And it's just because he is the one player on this team who has the legs to sort of to do that in the middle of the pitch. I think the main reason why he doesn't is because he's one of the few players who actually genuinely look for Haaland first and foremost. And I think having someone like him out wide who can sort of get those deep crosses in, which ultimately led to our first goal. He's very good at sort of finding that deep cross into Haaland, and I think that Pep wants that more than he wants necessarily what the other wingers can do. I just think that I think the main reason why Pep changed it against Palace was probably the fact that we don't have the defenders to do it at the moment. And I'm not going to bring us back to Kyle Walker. I don't want to, but it's more the fact that the centre backs that we obviously played against Forest with. We had both Ake and Akanji playing there. So we had the four centre backs that I've said before in this show, and I think it was probably last time the three of us were on. I was crying out for that, and as a team, we've probably been crying out for it for like all season, and for us to finally have that, which we did against against Feyenoord as well, didn't we? I mean, we had Rico coming in from right back into the middle, but we had three other centre backs like proper first choice centre backs there ready to go. It was only when we made changes late in the game that it all kind of went to shit, really, wasn't it? But I think obviously with Akanji and Ake then being out after Forest, that was it then. Kind of Pep's immediately got to switch around everything in front of the defence to make sure that he's trying to combat the fact that we don't have a solid back four of defenders in behind whatever's in midfield, so in a way I'm with you. I'm frustrated that Pep has changed it, and ultimately the fact that Grealish and Doku are not fit to start 2 games in a week is like a massive problem in itself. But again, it comes back to this idea. I know you replied to it was Simon Bajkowski won it for the MEN, where he was sort of saying about this, this ongoing cycle of like, you've got players who return back from injury and you'd like to ease them in back from injury, but because of the number of injuries we've got, you've got to just play them straight off the bat. So they immediately get like Ake and Akanji, for example, they finally come back in and they just get injured again straight away because there's no other option. Like we have to just play them relentlessly, and that comes down to, as I'm sure, as we've spoken about before, as I'm sure pretty much everybody who's talked about City this season from a City point of view, this has said, it's just down to recruitment and down to and it's ultimately down to Pep. Like Pep is the guy who wants a squad of 18, 19, 20 players, but this is what a squad of 20, 21 players gets you. It gets you a situation where 3 injuries like immediately just kills you, and we've had points in this season where we've had 5, 6, 7 injuries, and it's no wonder that we look like this. So, I'd love for us to just see the defenders stay fit for a little bit longer. I know it's asking a lot of players like Ake, for example, but even if just Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol can stay fit. Obviously, Gvardiol's not really had any issues this season, touch wood, but if Diaz and Akanji can stay fit alongside him, then I'm really hoping that makes the job of a Rico Lewis at right back, or God forbid, a Kyle Walker at right back a little bit easier, knowing that they've got like solid defenders behind them. Because otherwise, we're just in a situation where we're constantly rotating.
I agree. And this is what I sort of replied to him and said, well, yeah, I think we've been mad unlucky in the midfield. Yeah, because obviously you've got what's killed us here is Rodri going down, right? And that's literally the one injury that we couldn't have him get was an ACL or a broken leg, and he's got one of them, right? Having Kovacic get injured at the same time, again, is mad unlucky, right? And having Gundogan come in and just basically just be not good at all, that's very unlucky, right? So I have some sympathy for that, even though they should have signed someone properly in the summer, yeah? The defence, I actually am pretty critical on them in the defence, more than I am on the midfield, even though the midfield might be more obvious. Because the reason is, when you actually look at that defence, people say, we've got 7 defenders, what are you moaning at? Well, Kyle Walker started his decline last year. Rico Lewis, half the fan base don't even think he's a right back, right? So that, whether you think he's a right back or not, when half of the fan base is saying he's not a right back, that should raise a little bit of a red flag, even if you think that half are delusional or whatever, right? Stones is always injured, and Ake gets a few injuries as well. Gvardiol's played non-stop football since he joined last year and needs 2-3 weeks out of the team and needs a proper rest. And Diaz has had a few injuries last year, and he needs to be managed. So I'm actually pretty critical. I'm more critical, actually, funny enough, even though it might sound pretty weird, that they didn't sign a backup or squad rotational defender in the summer than the midfielder. Because for me, the defense was like staring me in the face.
On paper, the idea of 7 defenders for 4 positions doesn't sound terrible if all 7 of them are going to stay fit for the whole time. But
and they're good.
As you pointed out there, like we're in a position where Stones and Ake are definitely not reliable in terms of fitness, and that's before you even get into the sort of the actual quality issues in terms of. I'm a big Rico stan, so I'm not gonna sit here and say he's not good enough, and I think that he is absolutely good enough. He's a right back who will move into midfield. That's his position, and if you don't think that's a great right back, then fine. Like that's just to each their own. But I think, as you say, the Kyle Walker situation is it's not one that I've been banging this drum for about 2.5 years. It's not, and that's not because I'm some kind of like, I'm not some, ultra football scout who can see the drop off coming. Like a lot of people saw it coming. Like he's been rope, like even in the treble season. There's a reason why Pep barely played him, because he was like, you know what, we need some solidity. We're playing 4 centre backs because Kyle Walker ain't that at the moment. And then for some reason we gave him a new contract, and Pep started in most games last season. And the fall off has just been accelerated by the amount of football he's played at an old age. So yeah, it's all coming.
I don't know about you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Before we come on, I want to speak about tomorrow and sort of where we go from here. But on Walker, I think he needs to leave in January, and it's not a get him out my club style. Get him out in January. I actually think that I think he might be mentally fucked, lads. And I think every game he plays, he's making mistakes. He's getting roasted online. Yeah, and people will say, well, then fans shouldn't be doing that. I agree. You ain't going to stop it. It's social media, right? He's blocking everyone on social media. He's seen and he's getting roasted in every game. He was at fault, potentially, for both of the goals at the weekend. He was certainly involved in them in one way or another. And I just don't think it's good for him. It's not good for us because he's not defending well. And I know he won't want to leave because he's captain of the squad and will want to see the year out. But I just think it's best if he just left. And again, that's not in a get him out the club style. I'm actually thinking of him here a little bit in the sense that, like, because bro, I'm chilling. Play Kanji right back. I don't care whether he stays or go. If everyone's fit, Kanji's my right back. I just don't think it's good that he's here, man. And I think he should just leave in January, go Saudi or whatever, get the bag, and just see it out as the greatest Premier League of all time, right back of all time.
I'll let Puppy go first on this one.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that because his head. I think you are right. I think his head's gone, and it's one of them. He's probably hanging on to. From what he's done for his life, I think probably football is the only thing that he can probably guarantee he's actually got stable right now, and even that seems to be falling apart. I feel like if we had a replacement who could play there, and we had a full back four, he could probably dip out the team for a bit. Miss 4 or 5 games. The same thing that Rico Lewis needs to just sort of like be unavailable. Just take him out the team. Let him still be there, but take a bit, take a bit of a step back. Alex Ferguson used to do it. He used to put young kids in and let them play 4 or 5 games, drop them out for 3 or 4, and then mix them back in. And then sooner or later, they become staples in the team. I think that's what Lewis needs, but we can't afford to not play one of those two at right back with the amount of injuries we've got. I don't think Walker's going anywhere, to be honest with you. I think once players come back from injury, you might see him drop out a bit, but he's a club captain, and if he had started the season fit, I think that's probably not what's going to help him, is the fact he's so unfit. I'm not trying to defend him because those days are gone now, but it's like if he was to go, it'd remind me. I don't think he'd go anywhere. Any Saudi? You say Saudi? I don't know. It's not, at that point. It's just about money, but he kind of remind. I don't know if you remember this, but when Gary Neville was coming to the end of his career and he had just absolute nightmare after nightmare, he just turned around and just said, what else have we done here? He's looking like sort of player on the pitch right now, and I don't think there's much ways of coming back from that. But then again, I don't think Pep's going to get rid of him.
No, it'd have to be his own decision.
He'd have to be his own. I think he's just too proud for that. I think if it's an ego thing, right? I think he knows I think if you think about it, he knows he's been arguably the best Premier League's ever right back, one of the most successful right backs Premier League's ever had, and I think footballers have egos, and he seems to have that because he's a bit of a dickhead off the pitch, right? So, you'd imagine he's got this ego. I don't think he's going to want to quit. He's going to want to be running himself into the ground to try and prove a point.
But here's the thing, right? If he gets the deal from Saudi, he can spin that as, I'm only going for the money type thing. He's not like he's bailing if he goes to Saudi. It's like, I'm getting Saudi cash. He could spin it in that way. But I do get it.
He still gets an England squad. He was in the that Euros team of the tournament when he's somehow. You know what I mean? So
he's getting
we've got all this dog shit football he's playing at our club at the minute, but then he's still getting games for England. He's still up there. You know what I mean? He's it's a really weird situation to have because
what's wild is I actually thought he'd done well against Forest.
Yeah, but then again, it doesn't. It's weird because like he's making mistakes that you just wouldn't expect from somebody who's been through what he's done. And if it was anything, I would make sure he doesn't say another word in the fucking media again.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, if anyone that needs to be media trained again and again, it's him. Just keep your mouth shut, mate. Head down and get on with it.
Yeah.
Because every time he says anything, if he came out in the media tomorrow and say, "Lads, I'm shit, I'm done," people would still say they will still be saying what you doing? Get out of the club, you're useless, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Or if he says somebody in my family's dying, I'm going for a right load of hell right now, and football's the only thing that I'm going for. And people are like, yeah, just sling it, mate. You know what I mean? He's never going to win.
No, because
nothing Kyle Walker can do on the football pitch is ever going to bring him back to a level where any City fans happy to have him in the squad, let alone the team, the squad. And that's sad.
I would. I mean, after the Forest
on
game,
the pitch or off the pitch.
Anything? I don't know. There was
off the pitch. I probably agree, but on the pitch, I think if he started to I'm not even asking for like prime Walker here.
He's never going to get there, though, Joe.
No, exactly. He's not. But
what about the Forest performance? He played well against Forest. Why can't he just do that all the rest of the season? That was not a mega performance, but he was pretty solid.
You know, if he turned into prime Cafu and the next 5 games he scored 4 goals and got 3 assists and we got 4 clean sheets, he had one game where he didn't pick some up at the back post and it'd be game over again.
No, but I think at that point, I'd have no choice but to say, you know what, Walker's playing well. I want him to start. Like it's
rare though. It's rare, mate. He's taking a battering off social media is the ones that's killing him. Because
I don't personally think he's getting anything that's like undeserved. He's having his massive glaring errors pointed out. Like
it's the amount. I think it's there's the volume of when I go on Twitter after a game. Yeah. The guy's getting absolutely murdered online, yeah, and it's on mad. I'm seeing mad videos, yeah, of some like fucking caveman style music behind it or whatever, like some like proper dark music, and it's crazy. It's like the terrorism one, and it's like, bro, like it's bad, and it's yeah, and I'm like, yo, he's just getting it's like he's getting cooked every time. It's like he's seeing that 100%, yeah, and it's like,
yeah, there's no way he's not.
And it's like, that's why I'm saying, for me, I just think it's better if he just parted ways in January. I don't think it's going to happen, right? But I think it's better for him, and I think it's better for Manchester City if he just goes.
I think
the way it's going is just not right.
I think he's definitely, for me, I would absolutely just get rid. I mean, I'm at the point where it's just like he's becoming the positives that he used to have. Right, so to make it, I think what the problem with Walker is that he's not, and I've said this before on here as well, I think, but he's not, when you lose your physicality as a footballer, I actually don't think Kyle Walker's lost a huge amount of his physicality. He's lost maybe like a tiny bit of pace. Like he's getting done by Adama Traore and Timo Werner. Like, so like, okay, fine. Like that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, he's gone from being the fastest defender in the league to being probably the 3rd or 4th fastest. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a massive drop off.
Exactly, and that's absolutely fine. But the problem is that it's being combined with the fact that he hasn't learned. Like, do you know when you're a defender and you've been and people that peak period for a defender is around the sort of 29 to 32 mark, where you have that perfect mix of being physically still there, but you've got all the experience of having played like a 10, 12 to 15 year career. And Walker's got 16, 15 years of experience as a professional footballer. And the mistakes he's making are the basics. Like it's to go not to go all fucking Fabian Delph, but like he's making all the it's basic stuff.
Schoolboy errors, isn't it? Schoolboy errors.
It's not jumping with your man for a corner. It's not tracking your man to the back post. Like it's becoming like a weekly. Fucking Van Dijk could have had a hat trick of headers against Liverpool. Like all because Walker was the man who was on him. I saw a video compilation of like him just being bad like the other day, because obviously there's plenty of material to go around for those kind of videos. And I was reminded of how awful his defending was against Gabriel for that corner that Arsenal scored against us, where he just kind of like taps him and just taps him, and then runs in a random direction and just gives Gabriel the full freedom in the box to run into. I think if I was watching a player who I could see was mentally switched on, was doing everything right, but it's just that his body's letting him down because he's not the fast player that he used to be, I'd be able to sort of go, you know what, he's not, it's just age. It's just age that's the problem here. but it's not. It's so much more than that with Walker, because it's not. He hasn't got any of the pros that age brings. He's just got all the cons in terms of like just arrogance and sort of that inability to accept that he is no longer the player that he was 3 or 4 years ago. And I think the fact that I mean, yeah, I don't really, that's one of them. He played a full 90 minutes and Timo Werner been on the pitch for 10. Like, it's horrible, but like, that's not the worst thing in the world. I just think that for me, it's the fact that as well, that his reaction to sort of fans, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely fans out there who have maybe saying stuff that is a bit too far, but like City Extra, he is not a fan of City Extra. I know that for a fact. And that's because City Extra dare to sort of like comment on when he's made a mistake when they're doing the match reports and stuff like that. And if Kyle Walker lets a man in at the back post, they will say that in the tweet about the goal. And I think that if you're at a stage where you're taking it's not personal criticism, that is just factual accounting of a goal that has gone in that you have been at fault for. If you're at the point where you're sort of blocking City fans who are doing that, then I think, as you say, I'll be like, mentally, he's just gone. And if
he's also 35 in May, by the way. So like, this is like, it's not mad surprising. We shouldn't be sat here going, wow, where is this? He's 35. Most players would not be playing for Manchester City when they get to 30. He's 35 in May. So it's like, I just think this is just a combination of he's lost a little bit of pace and he's failing to adapt to that slight loss of pace in terms of his positioning, in terms of how he's defending. Yeah, he's maybe not quite all there because he's maybe just mentally shot because of everything that's gone on in his life in the last 2 years. And as a result, at the moment, he's not great. For me, move him on in January, get him out. Better for him, better for us. Everyone's a winner, and he protects it. At the moment, a legacy which is just going downhill because every game he seems to play for us, he's poor. I don't like seeing all the mad abuse, but I understand why people are getting angry because it's every game. It's Paul there. He's travelled all the way. He spent all the money to go to the game. The fact that he's not even jumping on the corner. I did the watch along, when the ball, I said this before, when the ball was going to in the box on the corner and I seen it was going towards Walker, my heart was in my fucking mouth or whatever the saying is. I was like, we could be fucked it. And it was in the back of the net. So anyway, I'll move on from Walker, but listen, I wanted to speak about it because I've not really spoke about it on the channel. I don't speak about it all the time because I know he's getting a lot of shit. But at the same time, we do have to sort of talk about it. Can't just not address it. So there you go. I want him gone in January. And there we go. Right, let's speak about tomorrow. In fact, let me do the super chats first. Big up to Steve, says Rico's a good 12th man for me. Says Steve, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I think he's a 12th man. Big up to Alf, says we have beaten Sporting proper Mourinho style. Says Alf. Oh, is he the Bruges fan?
Is he a Club Brugge fan? Yeah, I was gonna say they've just beaten 2-1.
Yeah. That's 4 games in a row they've lost since Amorim left.
I got a taxi on the other day and the driver was Portuguese and he said he's just come to the UK, he's looking for a team to support and he's Sporting Lisbon fan. And he was like thinking about going to Man United. I said, mate, you can't go support Man United. Sporting Lisbon, they stole your manager. Yeah, to be fair, we've gone really shit. We've lost 4 games in a row and we don't know how to play football anymore.
Yeah.
Mad the drop off from that.
Say, go support City, man. You know
I told him that. I said, get supporting City, mate.
Yeah.
Hate on Amorim. He was like, maybe. I do.
Big up to Danny as well. Says, Rico's a solid utility player. If we ever have an injury crisis post-rebuild, can play almost everywhere at a decent level. I agree. I think he's a good squad player to have. I really do.
Absolutely.
Squad players help you win titles, help you win leagues, help you win trophies, man. Good having good squad players, and he's a good
He's a man for a certain occasion, Rico, Lewis.
Yeah.
With not aggressive, not the best defensively, but if we're going nowhere, we're going to have a lot of high possession. He's just perfect for having that.
I agree.
Dynamic 6'8", 3, that 6'8" role, whatever he plays.
Just gets you that extra man, doesn't he? But
comes an extra man out over the pitch. He's literally in every zone as an extra man.
You need to have a Rodri in there though to compensate for his lack of physicality, because at the moment you've got Gundogan who's not physical at the moment, Bernardo who's not really physical. He gets stuck in, but he ain't physical, and then you got Rico. So all 3 of them are not physical. So none of them have that strength, have that power in midfield. Now when Rodri's there, no one really mentioned Rico Lewis's physicality that much last year or the year before, because Rodri's there to mop everything up. But now, no, he's not there. That everyone's like, we're not winning second balls. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I can't remember what it was. Chat, was it 2? I don't know if you guys seen our ground duel success from our midfielders on Saturday. It was something like 2 ground duels, 1 out of 17.
No,
It was surprising.
It's not surprising with the players you've got, isn't it?
Nunes won 8 ground duels alone on the left wing.
What a guy! I think the weird thing about like what I find a bit annoying about, because obviously after the game, with obviously him getting the red card on Sunday, he also came in for quite a lot of stick, didn't he? And I just think the weird thing about it is just like there are other players to. I mean, not that it should work like this anyway, but if you're gonna dig out players for what happened, like the 19-20-year-old academy lad who, you know, he shouldn't be the guy who we're all looking towards, should he, in a season like this where it's all going wrong all over the pitch. Like, he shouldn't be the 19-year-old from the academy shouldn't be the number one target of all the fans' frustration in the middle of this. Like, the fact is, we're a shambles all over the pitch in whatever reason. Like, the midfield can't keep hold of the ball, the front line can't put chances away, and the back line can't keep clean sheets. So I don't really think it's fair to single out. He says after slagging off Kyle Walker for the last 5 minutes, it's not really fair to. It's a bit unfair in most cases to single out one individual and go, you're the particularly the worst of the blocks. I think Kyle, for me, Kyle Walker's, we've talked about it. Kyle Walker's like a separate issue for me. But other than that, I think all over the pitch, everyone's just kind of like much of a muchness. Like, they've all been indifferent really this season, haven't they? Like, who's got a real serious claim for, like, you know, if we keep playing like this, the end of season, like, player of the year sort of nominations is going to be a fucking dire situation.
Well, Nunes won player of the month last year, which I thought was a fucking joke. I thought they should have scrapped the whole thing, to be honest with you. But yeah, Nunes won it. Yeah, we are.
Got to give Nunes his time, man. You know, like, if there's no other time when Nunes is going to win player of the month, is there? You got to give it. You got to give it to him.
Well, we've not won a game all month. It's pretty mad. But yeah, let's turn our attentions to tomorrow and sort of like the future and going forward. Juventus tomorrow, lads. We are still currently in the top 24, which as it stands means we're heading for a playoff game. We've got 3 matches left. Juventus away, PSG away, Club Brugge at home. Is anyone confident here? Apparently Juventus have only won 2 out of 9 games. So El Shitico is what people are calling it. But yeah, what are we thinking, man? Can we get a win tomorrow? Is a point a good point? Do we need to win? Because if we don't win tomorrow, it's 1 win in 10. That's not good, man.
I think we'll probably just you'll see that we'll probably dominate possession early, and it's whether or not we can be clinical with our chances. If we manage to get a goal or maybe 2 in the first half, I think the amount of shit we've gone through in the last month, I just don't think we'd give away a lead like that anymore. You know, I think there's a bit of they're probably learning some harsh lessons in training off Pep, saying, look, this can't happen, you know. So I think if we can get a couple of goals up, if we get a first goal, the first goal is so important, because if we go there and we'd 1-0 down in 4 minutes, I mean, geez, we couldn't get any worse than that, could we? You know, the amount of like pressure that's under the team to start playing, and then I think that's where the issue is. You know, some of the games we've lost, we've been in control. So if we can just get that control and get in front, you know, it's easily a winnable game. You know, there's a very clear difference in standards of the leagues, but you know, I wouldn't think that Juventus only winning a few out of the last thing is a major marker of how what sort of a team they are. They're going to want to put in a performance against us because they're struggling too.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game because for me, I'm thinking I don't think top 8 now is achievable. I think for me to get top 8, I think we'd probably have to win 3 out of 3. Maybe 2 draws, 2 wins and a draw might sneak you in, but at the moment, I'm thinking 3 wins, and I can't sit here.
I can't see it.
I can't sit here, man, with the way we've been playing and say to you guys, honestly, I think we're going to win 3 out of 3, including Juventus away and PSG away. I can't do that. So I think for me, I've kind of accepted that we're probably going to be finishing in the sort of playoff zone, which, listen, it's fine. So if you get through to if you get through to the round of 16, you get through to the round of 16, right? It's not ideal having an extra 2 games, but if you get through, you get through. Hopefully we avoid like a Real Madrid or a PSG, because that would not be nice. Or Atletico Madrid, Milan. Hopefully we get an easier team. But tomorrow, for me, I'll tell you what I want to see tomorrow. I want to see Pep go back to a system whereby Gundogan has legs around him in the midfield. That means Grealish has to play in midfield or Nunes has to play in midfield. I don't want to see Gundogan play with Bernardo Silva in midfield again. Please, I don't want to see that. Get me some legs in that midfield. The defence might struggle a little bit, I accept already. Well, they struggle anyway, no matter who plays, right? But they're going to struggle because of the injury situation. So I'm not expecting the wall of China there at the back. I just want to see decision making on point. I see some good Gavardio decision making recently, which is a bit sus. Let me get my decision making on point. Listen, if you don't win a header in the box, you fall over, you slip, something goes wrong, no problems, yeah? But let me get the basics sorted. Diaz today speaking about the basics. Right, well, the basics means you don't start doing bozo shit. We stop playing their strikers throwing goal. Kevin De Bruyne did it recently. Bernardo did it at Anfield. That's what I want to say. I want to see us just go to a team that is a no-frills team, yeah, that doesn't make stupid errors at the back and ideally not in midfield in our sort of defensive third. Stay as solid as possible and then just see what happens going forward. For me, I think we need to build from the back. Yeah, Mancini did it when he come to City. Yeah, he made us solid at the back. Boring City. Everyone used to sing it. He had rival fans used to sing it. But what did it do? It built a foundation of a solid defense. We went and won the league the next year. Yeah, I think Pep now needs to look at this defense, needs to look at this midfield and say, I need to make this solid because we're going into football matches having to score 3 goals to win. And that is bad. That is bad. So for me, I don't know how you do that in terms of what 4 you pick because we've got injury issues, yeah. But pick Gundo, pick legs in midfield, and let's just try and make sure we're sort of doing the basics right at the back and get fucking Diaz in the back of it because he was mint. I gotta say this again, man. He was mint against Palace, blocking everything. Get him at the back, leading stuff, and just go from there.
Yeah, Rico Lewis is going to play next. Obviously, he's unavailable for the weekend, so it'd be stupid to not play him and give another guy in that back line some kind of rest for the weekend. Akanji's not back, is he? I doubt he's back.
No.
So there you go. So you've probably got
Ake out for weeks apparently, and Akanji, he's not going to be back either.
So we're probably going to see this unless he brings in, and I really want him to do this, unless he brings in Simpson Pusey and just yards Walker and just go right. Rico, Simpson, Pusey, Diaz, Gvardiol as the back 4. That's the only sort of back 4 that I can see other than what we played at the weekend. Like, it's probably just going to be that it's that, or we just have Walker, Gvardiol, Diaz, and Rico at left back. That's the only other thing that's going to be in it. We don't really, because we don't have the luxury of anything else. Personally, I would just bring in Simpson, Pusey and just play Rico at right back. And just to see, because I think Simpson Pusey played well. Like, I know we got absolutely fucking spanked by Sporting, but I think he was actually decent. Like, he was actually of the back 4. He sort of came away with the most credit. Obviously, he got bodied by Gyökeres, but I don't think that's really a huge problem for an 18-year-old that he got bodied by the massive monster that is Gyökeres. I think other than that, the defense, I'm with you in the midfield. I think we need to see. Ideally, I'd see Núñez and Grealish come into midfield. We can't play KDB again. Like, I think with the derby at the weekend, where I'd like to see KDB start, we can't. There's no way he's ready for 4 starts in 2 weeks. And if there's one game that I'd like him to miss of Juve or the derby, I'm picking Juve because I'm with you. I've kind of just accepted we're not getting top 8 in the Champions League. So who cares where it is ultimately at the end of the day. I think that as long as we do that, and then I'd like to see Doku back in, like Doku and Bernardo, like you say, like if we get or Doku and Savio, like just I think that Juve, they've been really solid at the back. That's their thing. They've just been, have they conceded like 5 goals all season or something stupid?
Yeah, I think defense, they've got loads of draws, so they're shutting up shop, but they're just not scoring a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's maybe that'll play into our hands a little bit, that they're maybe not the best going forward, that, our defense not being great might not necessarily be punished the most with their sort of attacking form, but we're going to need like some serious. When I don't think this is the game for people to just sort of like tap it around their defense and stuff like that and wait for an opening. This is a game for Doku and Savio to just sort of go, you know what, like we're just going to cause some chaos here and just like we're just going to run at you and give your defenders something to think about. That's what I would like to see anyway, and that frees up both Núñez and Grealish to go into midfield and just sort of do the running in there, because as you say, without either of them in midfield, we just don't have any legs at all. You're looking at Gundogan and then Bernardo and one of Núñez or Grealish, probably Grealish at that point.
Go on, Joe.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's kind of what I think.
I mean, it's come to the point now where I'm expecting that we need Haaland needs to step up, man. We need a performance up there. We need something dominant, a big centre forward performance where he gets one of them where he gets one. The stats are 3 shots, 3 goals, done. Patrick, we need that clinical Haaland, because that's kind of where we've been suffering, right? So we need Haaland. We get half a chance goal, and then another half a chance goal. We need that. That takes the pressure off so much, and we haven't had that. So this is this sort of game where we just need Haaland to just say, you know what, take it, grab it with both bollocks and just go. We're off. I'm having this. I'm owning the game, and we haven't seen enough of that this year. You know, he's gone to that sort of one goal in a game sort of striker when before, and he was 2. You know, he was getting at least 2 chances. You know, he's not even some games he's not even scoring at all, or being nowhere near scoring. So we need Haaland to step up. I think so. This is the sort of game where, you know, big European night. This is what he's made for. Give him half a chance, 1-0, and then we'll just build from that. You know, because if he's in that mood, then nothing doesn't matter how much defensive errors we're going to have. He will add another massive threat to what we've been lacking, really.
No, I hear you. I do. The thing is with Haaland, I just think the guy's been feeding off scraps for a long time.
But he's had the half chances, though. He's had the half chances that.
Yeah.
Last 2 years. I know.
He's also played an insane amount of football. Like, he's not being given any rest. Like last season, we had Alvarez we could bring in for the odd game here and there.
Didn't buy anyone to replace Alvarez.
Yeah. Imagine if we'd have done that. Imagine if someone called. Imagine if Pep had been offered this striker from Celtic, and he turned him down and said, "Nah, I don't want another guy to replace Alvarez. We'll be fine." And then, lo and behold, he doesn't use any of the options that he had in mind to replace Alvarez. That'd be weird. That'd be so weird. But yeah, I think that obviously we've not had that ability to sort of rest Haaland. So he's playing literally every game. And I think we're at the point now where he's got to be so, if not physically tired, mentally drained, to the point where it's no wonder that he's like scuffing these chances, a lot of the ones that he's having, and not sort of being as
bro, he's probably feeling, if we're being honest as well, yeah, he's probably feeling the pressure, because he's probably looking around at these bozos in the team going, you're not scoring, 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 you're letting a goal in, 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 you're letting a goal in. So you're going to concede 2, and it's up to me to score a hat-trick every game, otherwise we're not winning. Sound.
Yeah.
And he's getting half chances. He's not getting legit mint chance. He's getting half chances. He's probably feeling the pressure of needing to score off these scraps. Yeah, he's running around. He's knackered. He's mentally fatigued. And he's watching our players, our defenders, defend like fools. And he's going, what's going on here? And that's why it's no surprise to me that 2 games since Kevin De Bruyne's been back, he looks like he's been working harder on the football pitch. I don't know if you guys clocked that as well.
Yeah. He has.
It's because he knows he's going to get chances.
Yeah, he came back deep loads against Forest, and he was doing a lot of the sort of non-strikery stuff that was a bit better. I think he did a bit more of it against Palace as well, to be fair. And obviously he scored against Palace. He was unlucky not to score against Forest, really. What did he score against Forest?
No, he didn't score.
I don't think he did he?
No, we had 3 different scorers that day. Bloody hell.
Yeah. I think he was unlucky not to. I think he had a chance in the first half, didn't he? Where it was a good save from the keeper. Yeah, I think he's Kev back is definitely helping him out a little bit and sort of giving him that impetus to sort of keep. Because I think, like say, for the last however long it's been, he's just been looking around him and just thinking like, he's not getting that many chances because nobody's really looking directly to Haaland, because everyone's thinking just got to play it safe because we're all playing like shit. And also the fact, like you say, that it puts a lot of pressure on you knowing that no one else is going to score. So. Yeah, I'm with you though, Paul.
Do you like that team then?
A proper performance.
Because I put Edison in there, boys, because you don't like it. All right, one sec. I put Edison back in because I think Edison will come back into this. It's a Champions League game. That back 4, I think I would go for that back 4 over putting Simpson Pusey in there. It's a Champions League away, man. The last time I think he played, we conceded 4 goals, and it's not necessarily his fault because it's 3 at Feyenoord when he come on off the bench. I'm not saying it's his fault, far from it, but I think I'd go for that over Simpson Pusey.
I think that's what Pep will go for. But if I had to choose what I would like to see, get Walker out of that team, man.
So you put Gavardio left back, Rico right back, and you put Simpson Pusey at centre half.
Yeah. That would be the changes I would make. But I don't expect that. I expect something more like what I expect that basically what you've put there.
Yeah, I think it'll be that, but you most likely, most of the time, it'll be a back 3, and Lewis will be in that anchor.
Yeah.
So personally, I would have thought he would have put Lewis at right back, Walker centre half with Ruben, and Gvardiol at left back, but it'll still be the same three at the back in the same order, and just having Rico dropping into that middle. So I think it'd probably be quite flexible.
Yeah, no, interesting. That Núñez Grealish thing is quite interesting because we've gone from a team that has had no legs, no energy in our midfield all season to a team where if he did do that, I don't think he's going to play this, but if he did do that, that would be like fucking hell. I mean, there's so much energy in there, and having Savinho and Doku on the wings as well is exciting. And I like the look of that team. There's obviously problems, but like the problems we can't solve until players come back.
I think we've been really unfortunate with the wingers as well. In obviously Bob's been out for like the whole season, but then Savinho and Doku are not exactly like the most injury-free players on the planet. And obviously Grealish has only just come back after this international break, so we've had Núñez, who is like our sort of legs in the midfield, but we've had to play him out on the wing because we've had no one else to play on that left wing position. And now it's kind of at the point where he's our top assister. Like, we've got no one has more assists than Núñez, I don't think. He's certainly second in the goals and assists combined anyway over the course of the whole season. So it's like, because he's doing so well numbers wise and no one else in the front three is giving any numbers, like, can you take Núñez out of that front three? Like, can you do it? Because no one else is giving what he's giving you in terms of goals and assists. And then that means that Pep maybe might be reluctant to, even though there are players back now like Doku, Savio, Grealish, he's reluctant to move Núñez away from that left wing, because if he does, you're replacing him with someone who may well give you nothing. Like, obviously Doku played really well against Forest, and that's why I quite like to see him come back in against Juventus on the off chance that link up with Grealish maybe helps him bring in another performance that might be a bit similar. But the reason why we've just not seen Núñez in midfield at all is because there's absolutely nobody else in the front three who's offering anywhere close to the numbers that Núñez is. So yeah, I just really want to see what that.
The thing is, though, bro, Doku. You know, Doku. I looked at his numbers, man. Doku's got 3 goals, 3 assists this season. Yeah, he only played 762 minutes because of injuries. That's 125 minutes per goal involvement. That is very, very impressive. I think I'd stick Doku on that left hand side. Right, put Núñez in the middle. There's no reason Núñez can't get goals and assists from the middle because he's in the middle. You can shoot from.
He did against Feyenoord, didn't he?
Exactly.
That run for the Haaland second goal.
Yeah. So for me, at the end of the day, right, I think we're in a situation where if we're being honest with ourselves, and we're saying we can't play Doku or Savinho left wing over Núñez, then we've got a major problem in terms of, well, are we saying that Núñez is so good on the left? Yeah, that we've got to play him? Or are we saying that Savinho and Doku are not up to the task of playing left wing? Yeah, I'm basically saying they are currently failing transfers. For me, I'd stick Doku out there. I think he had a good game against Forest. I was gutted that he didn't start the game against Palace. Obviously, he's injured, whatever, no problems. I'd stick him in this game. Yeah, I'd say go at that fullback. Yeah, cook him, twist him up and that. Yeah, you're going to have energy behind you. So when you cross the ball in, hopefully we can get players like Núñez and Grealish into the box, because they've got energy. Yeah, you put Savio on the other side, and we just go and we just take. This game is about energy, man. Yeah, we go in Juventus. Yeah, it's a away game. We've been dead all season in terms of slowness and just boring. Yeah, let's go there with our fastest players. Let's go there with our most energetic players and see what happens. And if we lose or draw, well, we've won 1 in 9. So I don't want to see anyone saying you said this and it. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying what we've been trying ain't working. So why not swap back and go to something like this, which is a little bit different, man? Yeah, it's not very, not seen anything like this from Pep for a while, but I just think that when you've won 1 game in 9, you need to experiment. That's what I'm saying, and I like that team.
That's what's most frustrating about, like, sort of obviously then getting a win against Forest, and as I said before, it's kind of been sort of that the hand has been dealt with the midfield injuries and the fact that Grealish and Doku weren't necessarily fit enough to start 2 games, but the fact that we did see that kind of energetic performance, that sort of that kind of thing that we would like to see repeated again and again, and then it's just not possible straight afterwards. I'd like to see, if let's say Pep does play the team that you've put out there, that you've put up, if he plays that tomorrow and we smash him, I just want to see what if we do win. I just want to see it again in the derby. I just, if it means that Grealish and Doku are maybe like in the orange or the deep orange on the fitness side of things, like I'm always at the point now. I'm just like, fine, like whatever. Like just I want to see like if we win tomorrow, repeat whatever it is that wins at the weekend. Because we're going into the derby. I want us to go into the derby with a team that has a chance of winning. And if we have a winning team, courtesy of tomorrow, whatever team that is he picks, it could be this, it could be something completely different. But if it wins and beats Juventus, I just want to see it again at the Etihad on Sunday.
What, you wouldn't play De Bruyne on Sunday?
If this wins, oh, you know what? Shit, you've just thrown a spanner in the works there. Yeah, De Bruyne, I'd want him to come back. In fact, you know what? No, like if this wins, then cool. Like just play this. Like if this smashes Juve 3-0, cool. Like put this up against United. That's what I would be saying. But obviously, Kevin, you know, if Kevin De Bruyne comes in, I'm not exactly going to complain. But I'm kind of I'm just at the point where, like, obviously, as we saw the Forest game, a lot of us. Let's say Akanji and Ake hadn't got injured against Forest. Would you have wanted to see that exact same 11 again start against Palace on the Saturday? Exactly. So that's kind of the mentality that I'm thinking for whatever team it is that he puts out tomorrow. If that wins, I just want to see that same starting lineup on Sunday, whether it is that you've put up there or whatever. I just want to see it repeated in the 2 games in a row. I don't want more rotate, unless there's injuries that make it literally not possible to do it. I don't want to just see rotation for the sake of rotation after this. I just want to see a winning team play again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Pulpy, you had anything else on this game? I want to speak about Bruno G.
Yeah, go back to that start 11, mate. Let's have a look at it. So, I mean, I'm quite a bit away from you guys. I personally think that this game right now, in terms of the season, this game is bigger than the derby. So I think usually the time that I've gone by, Pep puts his best teams out for these games. So I think De Bruyne is starting this in midfield. So I think Nunez is going to play left wing. So if you take out Nunez, put him in Doku, and you take out Savinho and put in so Nunez on the left, Doku for Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo on the right wing. I think he goes for the most solid squad we've got that's going to keep possession with a threat. I generally think this is a bigger game in terms of what we can get out of the season than
I agree.
The derby. You know, so I think it was solid like that. And if we're 3-0 up, then you can take De Bruyne off after 60 minutes. You can bring on your flying wingers in Doku and Savinho. You know what I mean?
Can I ask why this is a bigger game than the derby?
No, it is definitely a bigger game in terms of the actual season.
Because if we was to lose this and focus on the derby, we might win the derby, but that doesn't put us any closer to the top of the league. But if we lose this, we are in serious danger.
The league is finished. The league is finished, though. So we ain't winning the league, bro. Right?
So I think Pep will just prioritize. I think the same with Alden seasons is, look, don't think too far ahead. It's the next game. We win the next game, and then we'll get to the weekend, and we'll see who's fit, and we'll go again, and we start building momentum. I think they'll focus heavily on winning this game. This is a huge game.
Yeah. I'm with you, Pulpit, on the scale of the game, but I'm with Joe still on the team.
I think he throws De Bruyne in, man. He's played well. He's been managing 60 minutes. He's done 80 minutes. You've got to get him in.
You can't play De Bruyne, mate. Yeah, I'm sorry. They spent 5 weeks telling us how he couldn't start football matches, how he couldn't turn up. He played 10 minutes and started crying at the coaches. And then all of a sudden, to play 4 matches in a row, playing 75, 80 minutes.
He's been physically fit. He's just not been able to be kicking a ball, right? So he's not like he's unhealthy.
Yeah,
you know, he's got through the games. He's done well. Why would we? You know, if you've got a choice of where you play De Bruyne, do you play him tomorrow night or do you play him against a derby? Which one are you going to choose? I'm chucking him in tomorrow.
I want to play him tomorrow.
I want him to play an hour. And if it's 2-0, bring him off. If we're losing, you bring him off. There's nothing to be lost by playing him. You know, and it's not like we're playing Thursday, Saturday. He's got 3 days to recover. You know.
I'm with you. I'm just like Pep was talking about. Pep was saying that he's got to manage his minutes. We got told he wasn't fit, and then just to play in 4 games in a row. I'm happy to play, and I agree, Pulpit, with the scale of the game because for me the league's done anyway. We ain't winning the league.
I think we win this and we win the derby, and we're certainly back in. Things are starting to tick over. We've beat a major European team, and we've beat United at the weekend. I think you've got to focus on the next game and not worry about resting players. You've got to get them in now. We can't.
Is the Champions League not also dead? Is the Champions League not also dead? Like,
no.
I mean, we're not finishing the top 8. Like, we're gonna.
No, because the thing is, the closer you finish, is it seeded? Is the next round of matches seeded, or is it just a random draw?
Seeded.
So the closer we get to 8th place, you know, if we finish 9th, we beat somebody who was in. We play somebody who was in 16th, right?
in the
Well,
we've got to get close to that. We can't be saying we're going to struggle this. Let's just settle for the players. No,
to be fair, I'm looking at though.
We've got to turn the wheels. We've got to get the machine going. We've got to win games.
I'm looking at the teams that are in this next 16, and not obviously this isn't how it will finish, but Milan, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, like Atalanta, who look very good at the moment, Sporting, who just absolutely trashed us. But obviously look shit now, to be fair. There's a lot of big teams.
Yeah, it's like a quarter-final lineup for the Champions League that it would be, right?
Exactly. So it's kind of like...
So we have to try and get out of that. We have to try and get out of that.
But does it matter where you finish? Because like Madrid at 18th, like PSG at 24th. Like we could finish in the top half and still come up against a horrific team. We're going to come up against a difficult opposition, no matter where we finish in this next
yeah, but
16.
at the same time, Joe, if we don't take this game seriously, we might end up dropping out of the 24 completely. We lose tomorrow. We lose tomorrow. We lose tomorrow. We could easily lose at PSG. Then we're looking at that last game against Club Brugge, thinking
if we've got to win and smash them.
We win, bro.
So we've got to prioritize these games. Look, it's all about winning now. You know, we've not the streak's over. We've got to win games. We've just got to win games. There's no need to prioritize stuff. We just got to go next game, strongest team, boss.
Nah, Joe, we'll get top 4, man. Top 4, we get top 4, bro. We'll get top 4.
Do you think?
Yeah, bro. Because I tell you what, I wanted to speak on this before we wrap up. Yeah, Bruno G. Heavy links to Bruno. At Newcastle, Sam Lee coming out saying he's been told by someone at Newcastle that they need to sell a player. That City are interested, 60-odd million quid, he reckons, but I reckon it's a bit more than that. Another journalist today as well, I can't remember his name, has come out and said the same thing, that he's been told that City are interested in Bruno and that they need to sell. Eddie Howe last week said that they're going to have to sell a player, and he can't guarantee that it's not going to be a big one, i.e. Isak or Bruno. I think we're getting Bruno, right? What are your thoughts on that? Are you happy with that? And do you think if we get Bruno and we can get a little bit lucky with some of our injuries and keep some players fit, do we have a chance of putting some sort of runs together and maybe going on winning that Champions League / FA Cup? Can we salvage something from this season is basically the question. Or is it toast?
Pulpy looks like he has an opinion on this. Based
on I still think we can win the league. Bruno. I'm not throwing that away. No way. What? We're struggling right now, but there's reasons for it. If we was to go, if we win Wednesday and we win Sunday and then we win the next game after that, and then we've got 4 games in a row that we've won, the amount of confidence that's going to come through that team, we can win 17, 18 games on the bounce. And you know full well we've got to play these teams around us and they've got to take points. I'm not throwing this away. No chance. Not after what we've seen. Not after what we've seen. You know, there's what's.
I mean, fair play. I think we've got no way.
Until we're like mathematically out of it, I'm not writing us off. We've done far better than we've done far. We've won from far worse positions and shit over the years. You know, that first one we won with what was it, 8 points or 8 points behind in a week. Turn that round. No one was expecting that, right?
Have we ever been? If Liverpool beat Everton, let's just say that Everton.
They will beat them, but they won't win. They won't run away with it. They just won't.
But have we ever come back from 11 points behind after 15 games? Nobody's been that far ahead.
This is the time to do it. Imagine this is the time to do it. There's nothing to stop us. If we win 15 games in a row, which is easily possible, again, we're going to be playing those teams, and they're going to be playing each other. It's not a 2-horse race anymore. You've just my
problem with that. My problem with that is that our defense is so fucked. It's just not possible. We can't keep a back 4 fit. Like it's just you can't win the league if you don't have a solid back 4, and we are so many million years away from a solid back 4 at the moment that we just cannot have any hope of winning the league. We're not winning the league if we have to put out at the weekend against Manchester United in the derby Kyle Walker and Rico Lewis at left back. We're just not winning the league if we have to do that like that, and that's not an abnormal back 4 for us this season. We've seen that multiple times already. Like we're in this horrible position where it's just I just don't say on Bruno coming in. I think that definitely helps us. That improves our chances of sort of having at least a midfield that doesn't look like total shit. Like if he can come in and Bruno can stay fit, and we have someone who can at least play consistently in that 6 that isn't a 45-year-old Gundogan whose legs are falling off, and we can have him with Nunes and Nunes, Bernardo, Grealish, Foden, KDB, whoever it is that's going to play alongside him in midfield. That is inherently better, and that will help cover space in front of that back 4. But if the space you're covering is in front of our 5th choice back 4 that changes every week because there's injuries all the time, even Rodri, I don't think even Rodri being fit would be able to save that back four constantly changing every single week.
I just think it's a step to 11 points is just a little bit too far for me. I always said, as soon as Rodri got injured, I always said, get me to January, 6, 7, 8 points behind Liverpool, and I'll have a go. But 11 points.
11 points sounds like a lot, but all it takes is for us to win 3 games and then to draw 3, and what's that down to 5?
The problem that I've got is, mate, is that I don't think we're going to beat United, Villa, Everton, and Leicester before January. I don't think we're going to win it.
Take each game. Take each game. We've take out what we've done before, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then fresh start today with the players we've got and the ones that are going to come in back and potential signs coming in. Of course, we can win those games.
But I've been saying about fresh start for the last 6 weeks, and it's like it's just not working. And then he finally finds a system. Bro, he finally finds a system and abandons it, man.
So can I just so let's just put into perspective here. So last season we were all laughing at Liverpool having a bit of a fall off while Klopp was on his way out, weren't we? They lost 4 games all season. They are currently on 1 loss this season. So we're saying that the Liverpool have to lose more games than they lost last season, while they looked a lot worse than they do this season.
It's not a 2-horse race anymore, though, Joe. It's not like it's 2 teams going head to head and one game loses.
That's why we're even less likely to win, because it's not just Liverpool. We've got
if we take care of our own, if we take care of business, and say for instance, the next 14 games we won 12 and drew 1 and lost 1. There's no way that Liverpool are going to keep up that, because they're not. And Arsenal will not.
That's fine, but what if Arsenal and Chelsea do?
The gap will close, and when it comes down to March time and we're 5 points behind, you're going to write us off then. I won't even write us off.
We're going to be 15 points behind by March. We're going to be nowhere near it.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll make you a deal. Yeah? If we get to January 1st, 9 points behind, and we go get Bruno G in the first week, bang, I'll invest. I'll invest in the stocks.
I'm not giving it up, mate. I'm not being a.
Nah, you already invested. I'm not invested.
I'm committed.
I want Bruno G within the first week of January. There's no excuses. Yeah. Get me within 9 points, which means we have to win every game. Yeah. Now till January the 1st, which is 4 football matches against Man United, Aston Villa, Everton, and Leicester. Yeah. Win those 4. Get me Bruno G the first week, and let me see Liverpool lose.
3 of those teams are in the bottom half of the table, by the way.
And I'm doing it.
Yeah, Palace are in the bottom half of the table. Fucking, you know what I mean? We're playing.
I'm ready to invest.
I'm
ready to go for it, man. I'm ready, but I need to see that before I start talking about the title. I need to see the team just win some football matches first. If they do, they win these 4 games in a row, and the board buy players in January, ideally in the first week, I'll go, yeah, maybe we can do it. But ain't no way I'm talking about a title when we won 1 in 9.
If City win the league this season, this City squad with this many problems, the Premier League just needs to fucking pack it up and go home. Like, there's no point. Like, if we win the league now from here with this team with these injuries, Rodri's out all season, our back 4 can't stay fit, we can't keep a midfield fit, our front 3, every single winger we've got is in and out every other week with injuries, and we still win the league, then every manager in this league needs sacking. Like, it's honestly like there's no way it's gonna happen. There's just absolutely no chance.
I'm just saying, Joe, when it gets down to the business end, like, if we're still hanging around and we start getting a few results and the teams above us drop a point at home, drop 2 points at home, or they let a goal slip. We've done it before. There's no reason why we couldn't do it again, because we've all seen the documentaries. The mentality is there at the minute. We've gone to shit because we haven't got any fit players. Once that fitness starts back up and the rhythms are back, just watch.
But
it will be the greatest ever. It will be the greatest ever comeback. Why not? Why can't we achieve that? We've done everything else.
I'd love it, mate. Honestly, I want to be with you so bad. I really want to be on board on this, but I just can't do it. But I think the thing is with the previous seasons, and this is where the major difference is. The previous season, it's all just been like a mental thing where just like there's a couple of shit results have just gone against us. We've been dominating games and just it's gone against us for whatever reason, and that's happened 4 or 5 games on the bounce. It's made us look really bad, but we've had ultimately a solid spine, a solid team, a basic core of players that is playing every single week in and week out. And this season we just don't have it. Like it's just that is not and. If like, let's say the only way that I can see this possibly happening is A, we win every game in December, Arsenal and Liverpool and Chelsea drop points, and we sign Bruno in January, and we don't get another injury all season. That is the only way that I can possibly foresee us winning.
I'll invest on those conditions.
Joe, you believe it can be done then with what you've just been saying?
No,
you're just giving out. I'm getting
all four of those things.
I'm absolutely getting cooked here, by the way. People call me arrogant and stuff.
Everybody who gets cooked though. Joe will get cooked for being negative. You'll get cooked for being positive. That's just unfortunately how social media works. Anyway, Pulpit, I asked you about Bruno G.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I said, what do you think about Bruno G? I ain't giving up the league. What are you talking about?
Sorry, mate. You know what? I don't know. I don't know about it. If the price is right, I'm not. I wouldn't, for what he's done this year, I wouldn't be paying 100 million for him. If the price is 60, then we're getting a player that can hit the ground running, and he's decently got another 5 years in him, hasn't he? International footballer.
Yeah.
He's definitely playing at the wrong level. He could do with being that top 3-4 clubs. I'd take him at 60 million, but I wouldn't expect fireworks from him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be expecting to come in to be extraordinary.
Can I throw a hypothetical at you, Pulpy?
Pardon?
Can I throw a hypothetical at you? So Newcastle need to sell a big player, and they don't know whether it's going to be Bruno or Isak. And I'm scared that if it's not us signing Bruno, a big Premier League club's going to sign Isak, and it's not going to be us. And that's an Arsenal plus Isak is not an experience.
I think Isak worth more, right?
So do you just accept that you're going to have to, also because it's January, do you just accept that you're just going to have to spunk 100 mil on Bruno G and just make sure that Newcastle's financial issues are sorted and no one else gets Isak after this because they're fine? Or do you hardball at 60, not get him, and then next summer someone goes and signs Isak and they keep hold of Bruno and we're fucked in midfield? Like, what's the...
I'll take a second, mate. I'm not... I mean, you know how shrewd we are at the club. They're not going to throw money away. They ain't going to throw 100 million. I don't think we have a choice
in January, though. I don't think we have a choice.
I don't know. I mean, 60 million, 100 million, no. I don't think he's a £100 million player.
So who would you sign then? 80 mil? Would you sign him at 80 mil?
I mean, 60, you're going up an extra 20%, I'd do that, but I wouldn't chuck 100, no. I wouldn't be go. If we put a bill in and they say we want 100 mil, I would say, get fucked then, son.
I genuinely think we're at the point.
That puts.
I would pay 100 mil.
I'd pay anything. They could say 120, and I'd be like, you know what, just fucking do it. Like it's got.
I find you very strange, Paul. Right, 1 minute, you're trying to tell us that the league's
I just don't know. I'm only saying,
pay the dough. Come on, South
because they won't pay the money. City won't pay that money for him. They won't.
I'm with Joe. I think we're at the stage where we're in such a crisis that the club are just going to have to sort of like hands up and just be like, pay the cash.
What do you want them to say? 100 million. We'll say, I'll tell you what, it's 55. And then we'll go, all right, well, we're not want 55. Can you put any more? All right, 57. I think that's the way City going to do business. They're not going to. They've got.
You can do that from a position of strength. You can do that from a position of strength. You cannot do that when everybody in the world is begging us to knock on their door. Torino want us to buy Richie because they know they're going to get a payday. Edison, Atlanta, they want us to knock on that door because everybody knows that we're in the market for not maybe one midfielder, two, and that we are desperate for midfielders. So, and that's what happens.
And we are desperate, which is why we should spend 100 million.
We might be desperate, get it done. We don't make desperate decisions.
I buy Bruno.
This January we have to.
I mean, look, if it was my money, I'd be driving up to Newcastle and I'll saying, I'll be dropping it off at the door. Bosh, there we go. But the City don't work like that. They don't waste money. They're efficient with the signs. Like I'm saying, they want 100 million. They're not going to get 100 million for him.
We spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, and that was in a summer window where we weren't like, don't get me wrong, we weren't crying out for what Jack Grealish gives us. Like we weren't desperate for that position, but we spent 100 mil. And obviously he's English, and there's a bit of the English tax there. But we've got desperation tax. Like we have no choice. Like we're at the point where we have no solid midfield. Everyone's watching us play Gundogan at 6 every single week, knowing that we have to sign someone to replace that and make sure it doesn't happen again.
We might have that desperation the thing, and someone just said beggars can't be choosers, but we're not really beggars.
Are we not?
I think we are. I don't think we are.
We still look. Take away the drama that's gone on in the last 2 months. We're not beggars. We're just not. City won't do that. City will not go out and go, we'll just do whatever you want. We'll have him. 105 million. There you go. Take him.
He's also a very good footballer, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is mint. Yeah, he's genuinely very good.
I just don't think City are going to play ball with that. They're going to say no chance. And I wouldn't be surprised if it gets done and it doesn't get done till like the 25th of January.
So would you then pull
out from weeks?
Would you then? So let's say, because obviously, realistically, the only alternative who's really been put out there's obviously Edison from Atalanta, but whatever. So let's say the alternative is Zubamendi, right? And we go to Zubamendi and say, look, we're willing to pay your release clause. Do you want to come? Which I think is at 60 mil. And we go, do you want to come here? And Zubamendi goes, nah, mate, I'm staying at Sociedad. Like, I love it here. And our only option is 100 mil on Bruno G, or we don't sign anyone in January. I'm not asking what you think the club would do. Would you personally?
Yes, of course.
Do it?
But personally, I think the option would be we don't sign anybody.
I think we have to do it. We obviously don't care where we finish in the league. Then,
in my opinion, if you do that, I think you're writing the whole season off.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't want to do, because for me, whilst I think the league's done, the Champions League, if you put Bruno G in this, right, if you have a team, right, of Edison or Ortega, whatever, Gvardiol, Ake, Diaz, Akanji, right, you play Bruno G, Kovacic, and De Bruyne, Foden right, Haaland up top, Doku, Savio, Grealish, take your pick left wing. That on its day can be any team in Europe, any team. So for me, if you buy him and put that in there, and like I say, you get a little bit lucky with your injuries, we can win the Champions League. We can win the FA Cup. I do not believe.
And win the league, LB, say it.
Well, maybe you could if you get a bit lucky in that, right? I'm not saying that, it's never say never, but I still think it's mad unlikely. If you don't sign anyone, you're not winning anything, in my opinion.
Can I just say as well that we've been, so you're saying 60 mil there. We spent 60 mil on Nunes, a squad player. We spent 60 mil on, we spent what, 40 on Calvin Phillips, who was dog shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're looking for a midfielder in Bruno G who's not just going to be another body. He's going to level up our midfield. Like, on our midfielder options are going to be like genuinely a level above what they currently are, and we just have to pay big for that. Like, especially when we're in January for a start, where you have to pay extra no matter what, because it's the middle of the season and Newcastle are probably going to be pretty reluctant to sell mid-season, especially since they'll make them worse and they're not looking great at the moment anyway. And also the fact that we are currently in a position where we just don't have the midfield to be like, oh no, look, like if you don't give us Bruno G, it's fine. We've got Rodri. We don't have Rodri. Like, it's like, if you don't give us Bruno G, like, we're fucked. Like, we have no one. Like, we're playing Kovacic and Gundogan in midfield all over again. Like,
I'd love him. I'd love him there. I've said this a few times before. Going back from like the mid-90s, if there was a player like Bruno G knocking around for any other teams in the league, United would snap him up. They'd always pick the best players from the lower half of the table and put them in their squad, and they'd hit the ground running.
Yeah.
They would do that, and we need to do that, but I just don't think the club will. I just don't think they will. I'd love it if we woke up on the 1st of January and like, it was all quiet and it's like Bruno G starts for Man City.
To be fair, I don't totally think that you're wrong. To be fair, I can absolutely see a world where they get a 100 mil asking price from Newcastle and then just go, nah, you know what? But if they do, then I'll be extremely critical of the club if they do that. I will think that is borderline.
I think I would have to be as well, because I think he's a player that could save our season and give me faith that we could actually win some. And if they didn't do that, especially given the fact that they only spent 25 mil in the summer and sold Alvarez for 80, it's not like they spent loads of cash and we're being entitled. Yeah. They spent 25 million quid. Yeah, they sold Alvarez for 85, not to buy Bruno G, who's an elite level player. He's played Premier League, and I think he'd thrive at this move, and he would improve us. He's a great player.
I think he would, but like the stumbling block is the way the club does business.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that the point is, for me to wrap it up, is sometimes you have to change the way you do business depending on your club situation.
Circumstances change.
Yeah. And right now, I think the circumstances have changed where our midfield is dying, and it's sad to see, and he can revive it. He is the quick revive.
I think you're right as well on the on sort of like, just not just for you, but for the players, in terms of like, he's that guy you bring in who you go, you know what? We're serious again now. Maybe we actually can. Maybe we can go in and do something this season, because you're bringing in like
no one's a player. No one's a proper player.
Yeah, every player in that room, at that dressing room, will have played against him and know how good he is, but also will be fully aware of how cooked our midfield is currently. And if they see someone like that come in, they can go, you know what? Suddenly the defense feel that like 5-10% better, because they know they've got a serious midfielder in front of them. Suddenly the attack feel 5-10% better because they know they've got someone behind them. Suddenly everyone in midfield feels like fucking 50-60% better because they know they've got Bruno G around them.
It's that effect. Remember, it was like when we brought Laporte in, right? We were struggling, and we brought Laporte in, just hit the ground. Well, we need somebody like that, and I get that, but I don't know. It all depends on we've spoken about it a few times. Like the club are obviously going to accelerate a signing from the summer.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that he would have been that summer signing next year. So it's a case of now is what's the next best available option. And I don't know. We all love him. At this point, we're all clutching for straws, trying to find somebody to fill a gap because we're desperate for someone, right?
Too right.
I just don't see the club wanting to chuck anywhere near 100 million quid at someone.
A lot of Newcastle fans, David just said there, a lot of Newcastle fans that come in my chat, right, say 80 million it gets done, they reckon.
Yeah. That's
more likely. I think City do 80. I think City do 80.
We say 60, meet somewhere like 76 million or something, and
there'll be a bunch of add-ons that'll make. They'll take it up to 80 if we like win a league or a Champions League over the next.
Bro, put in there 20 million add-on. If we win the Prem or Champions League this year, you can have 20 mil because basically he's saved it, and he's the reason why we're basically going to win it. You know what I mean? All right, and big up, lads. Let me go through these super chat for a wrap up. Big up to Tom. Says Liverpool are top of both leagues. Sorry, he doesn't see it. Talking about the Premier League.
Oh shit, they top the Champions League as well.
I think they are.
Don't mean shit, does it really?
No. Not really.
You can finish first or eighth in that. It don't matter where you finish as long as you're in that final thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. You could finish 24th in the league. Yeah, facts. Big up to Massam says beggars can't be choosers. Oh, you read that one out before. Yeah. That was about Bruno. Big up to you. And big up to my man Rustin. I was speaking about you before, bro, on the stream. Says focus solely on the Champions League. We need a stopgap in DM, in my opinion, only. Our defense is in shambles, cause of the constant onslaught due to the lack of cover, says Rustin. Big up, bro. This guy, coming to my stream.
Definitely be a massive. It definitely could paper over a massive crack in the defense if we do get someone who can cover that.
Definitely would. He come in my stream about 2 years ago, something like that, and said LB Baena. And I'd like, who the fuck is this guy? And now everyone's like, Baena. You know what I mean? So this guy who knows his football, man. Big up to you guys, man. Make sure you guys smash a like. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Big up to Pulpy, man. Handled the criticism there in the chat very, very strongly, bro. You know what I mean? And big up to Joe, who's getting called negative all stream as well, man. So you can't win.
Loser mentality I've seen a few times in here so far.
You can't win. That's something I've learned by doing this, and I'm sure Joe, obviously with his fucking podcast and that. Make sure you guys are tuning into the Ramble as well, man. I've started listening to this good podcast. A few of the lads on there, so make sure you guys are tuning in. The City Ramble. Make sure you follow Joe on Twitter and Pulpy as well. But yeah, man, big up to you boys for jumping on. That was another good one. Appreciate you guys. And guys, hope you enjoyed it. Smash a like. If you're watching back on replay, give us your comments in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.